It's already on. Hello. Hello. So we listened to a recording of birds and old riverbed in Wrocław. And in this part, I wanted to acknowledge these wonderful creatures and their body that contributed the collection of history of a museum of natural history. So today I'm going to tell you the story about the former sewage treatment farm in Wrocław. This is me. I'm KATARZYNA from BęcZmiana Wrocław. You can see me with my turbo ears on my head. Those are microphones. And like this is very important for me in my curatorial practice to listen to. So like recording the fields was the very important part of my research. Here on a picture you see also Daniel Brożek. He's a sound and a curator and sound artist from the collective called Canti Spazjalizati. And together with me, we have been record the so-called fields of regeneration from 2021. Here you see the snapshot of this amazing place, the place that I will tell you about tonight. So again, I'm KATARZYNA, and today I will tell you about the culture of regeneration. For many years, I used to run the gallery called Design Gallery. This is one of our 4 galleries in the structure of BęcZmiana Wrocław. And the culture of regeneration is a result of my experience from this gallery. So culture of regeneration, this is like a curatorial program at the intersection of design, art, and science. And it features a variety actions like walks, exhibition, labs, lectures, residency, listening sessions, and study visits. And my challenge is to rethink the concept of resilience in a city, and like how to integrate humans and their infrastructure to nature. So culture of regeneration has 3 program lines. Resilience, that would be the first one, and it's based on the idea of sanatorium. I will touch this subject in a moment. The other one is the Breslau-Wrocław continuum, based on the material culture of the city, and nature-based solutions based on the knowledge gathered from, among others, the sewage farm technology. But before I will start to explore the subject, I will tell you a little bit more about the institution. This will be, of course, a short section of our activities. So BęcZmiana Wrocław, this is a cultural institution financed by City of Wrocław. Those are 4 venues connected by a program presenting contemporary art and design in its new, sometimes surprising manifestation, the director of BWA Wrocław is Maciej Bójko. I have this privilege that from March this year, I am the deputy director from program and education. But as I told you, from 2009, I used to run one of these 4 galleries called Design. This is the space of the gallery. You can see that the gallery is situated in the very special place in Wrocław, in the very heart of Wrocław, next to Time Hall. And the gallery was established in 1993. Previously, the space housed a gallery, and even before there was a furniture shop, and before the war, the building did not exist. So from 2009, when I started to work at the gallery, I took a different operating model, and over years, with a group of extraordinary companions, we have developed a model of a gallery that is friendly, curious about the knowledge, but which also offers a stimulating physical experience. Those were days of labs, sessions, and collective learning instead of exhibitional program. So for us, all those years, we have been mainly process-based gallery. Our motto has been less showing, more action. Here you can see Alicja Patanowska, one of artists and designer that worked with us. For the sake of the exhibition, she just moved her studio into the gallery, and for the whole time she was like building up the exhibition, involving audience, showing there her practice, her skills, and telling about the embodied knowledge, which is very important, especially in case of being a potterist. So another something that is special for what was special for us, that is questioning the habits of how our audience is taking part in an art show. Like here, you can see the exhibition called the Book Club, and the exhibition presented books. But what is special, and why I want to emphasize, is that we put a large bed in the center of the gallery, and let people just to perform with the book, to lay down, and to spend some time together in this way. So I want to tell a little bit more about 3 leitmotifs from our program, and first would be the anti-consumerism, and for us, it was something that we started with. This is the first exhibition called Goodbye Design. And what was important for us is we wanted to show the people what is the way to be as a part of the exhibition, to be that is based on the participation and not consumption. And many projects of us addressed the problem of unfair distributed consumption in the world, where the few have much and the many have little. And I think it's very important in discussion about the design, and how design let people be more consciousness about the world, about the and how to show that design is not only connected to the sales market, but it's more about solving some social problems. And another thing is to perform design objects. So we are this kind of gallery that we are not showing study objects, but more trying to involve people to perform, to try and to have some fun and some experience with project that we were presenting. And for example, this is a Balneo concept by Konrad Dybicki, and there was a set of a few items like for example thermophore on inhalator, and that was the last project that we performed before pandemic started, and of course we had to like change a bit our directions, but still like having this idea of like performing design instead presenting them, this is something that is very important for us. And another perspective, that was the act of lying down. And we've noticed that many of our projects involve our audience to lay down, which is quite exceptional, because like public sphere is asking us to move, to stand, to sit, but never lie down. And in the future, in the past, like we have like a different choreography in the public sphere. So it's like trying to show that lying down might be a public position, was always something that I was interested in. And then in 2009, we started with the project called Żynia, that would be library in English. And this is a space that people can use during the daytime. And this is the space that people can lay down to relax and to use it in a way that is needed. And like many of our furnitures, like let people to use it in a very relaxive way. But we did more, like for example, like watering, like having like a glass of water, for example, was always something that was a part of this project. Listening activities, this is something that you maybe already noticed is very important tool to connect with the audience. Of course, media exploring, like to get some critiques over the technology, how do we use them, how can we use them in the future. But also practicing, like we have this idea of the space that is open to the public, that is not only a place where we are presenting something, we are showing something, we are dealing with something, but also to ask people to use the space in their purposes. But what is even more important is, and we imagine the gallery is an agent of stimulating senses. And I was very inspired by the notion that smell is something that is very delicate, and this is the last thing. If you want to avoid being a consumer, you have to be very aware of this sense, because somehow this is the last tool that we can fight with the consumerism, and like could elaborate it more, but maybe during the presentation I will come back to this subject as well. So Żynia was based on this idea of sanatorium, which was very important for me to create this redefinition of resilience in the city. And maybe I will tell you a little more about the context. So Wrocław used to, those are previous names of the city, is the capital of Lower Silesia. And this is the region rich in sanatorium tradition. And among others, there is one typology of space that is very inspiring. Those are mineral water pump houses. And for me, they are very inspiring in terms of critical urban spaces. Those were spaces where people could come and drink water, like gather around the water intake, and also like to spend some time, because the other accompanying activities would be reading somehow, team playing, having some treatments, reading newspapers, and also, you know, to do some physical treatments as well. But also those water pump rooms are very inspiring. They were very inspiring for me as a typology, not even particular spaces, but as a typology to show that other non-human perspective. Here we see the pictures taken by Anna Orłowska. We went together for artistic journey to the Lower Silesian sanatoriums. And on this picture, you can see the iron deposition and some mineralization on the stone. And led me to think about the other non-human perspective and to see the human material culture from the different material mineral perspective. But after the pandemic, or during the pandemic, we had to change the mode that we were operating. And we imagined that a gallery as a sanatorium is a very powerful idea, but maybe going to the nature is something that is even more important. And this is how we started to, we moved our activities into the nature. And here, we finally found the proper space. We called it the Fields of Regeneration. And we started, some treatments, some activities with artists and designers just there. Here you can see some people playing with reed bed in this sanatorium flavor. But finally, it occurred to us that our fields of regeneration used to be former sewage treatment farm. And now you can see on the map that it's a huge organism in the body of the city. This is they're marked blue, so it's like a 12 hectares already. And this amazing organism is connected, those are fields, but also to forest, Rędziński forest and Osobowicki forest. And here you can see the aerial photo of this area. It was taken by Kacper Kowalski, his amazing artist who is actually flying over the landscape. And he took some photos of this huge organism. And for example, here you can see that this right angle that is it's really hard to find one in the nature, but shows that this organism is quite there is the many paradox in this organism. And here on the map you can see how it used to look like during the German times. So here is Breslau, the city. It used to be smaller than it is at the moment. And here you can see the huge fields that were connected in the late 80s in 19th century to the city as a part of the canalization system. So the idea was to put the sewage through this main canal here and to distribute the sewage into the polders. And then using the natural forces, using soil, using the reed beds, the sewage was purified, and then it might go to the river. I started with a people's story because it was pandemic, so archives were closed. So it was very amazing from the beginning that I had to deal with some memories and with some oral stories about those fields. But later on, I realized that the story is really well documented. But little experience. When I was talking to the people, there is one thing that is very well known, that those fields were very stinky, and this is the only memory that people from Wrocław already had it about the place. Here on the project, on the blueprint, you can see that designer really fit into the field's terrain and did the job very, very smart, using some kind of nature-based solutions. And on those fields, there was not only a sewage treatment farm, but also some parts were used as agriculture. And for example, you can see that on this picture that sewage farm were very, popular at the time. Like the soil was fertilized with sewage somehow, and it happened the same in Breslau. And for example, the willow, tobacco, or the sugar beets were cultivated there. Of course, that system is still, like the idea is still working on in some part of the world, but here in Europe we have we change our perspective and something that we could call the hygienic imagination. So at the moment we can imagine ourselves that we are using the waste, for example, from animals, but it's really hard for us to believe that somebody used to use domestic sewage as a fertilizer for the soil. But those sewage treatment farms, they were very popular in Prussia, especially, mostly because of the law that asked people to, like officials, to manage the sewage before it was put into the rivers. And for example, there are many of them in Breslau, in Berlin, around Berlin, many relics of them. And I started to visit them from 2022. I visited already two. One is Hobrechtsfelde. In Berlin you call it Rieselfelder. And to this year we had a visit at the Rieselfelder called Buch. And if you do not know this amazing landscape, please try to get some S-Bahn and just to enjoy the pure nature in the city area. So the whole radial system in Berlin was set by James Hochbrecht with the ideological help of Rudolf Virchow. But Edward Wiebe used to be a great absentee of this sewage project, mostly because he didn't invent the idea how to treat the sewage. But later on, when he was working with sewage in Gdańsk, in Danzig, he already used that technology as a result of the whole project for sewage and for canalization of Gdańsk. And here you can see on the right there is relics of former sewage treatment farm that was built by him. And this is like a model of it, that you can see that this is like real architectural, and that there is a real engineer's work with that. And this experience Edward Wiebe used to design canalization and system and sewage management in Breslau. Here you can see the map that was prepared by Kaja Gliwa, our graphic designer. And this is the map for audience, for our public to explore the Wrocław sewage treatment farm, the fields of regeneration, so-called. And Kaja put the Old River bend to the map just to show that the river was moved in the late 18th century. But this is important to know because in those parts of those fields, water still appears somehow, what is described by the scientist as a water memory. And another, very important subject of like of regeneration is the continuum, which is especially important in such a town like Wrocław, like Breslau-Wrocław, mostly because the tradition, like a local tradition of the city, was completely destroyed during the war and post-war propaganda. And like searching for the continuity is very somehow important for us, and I think I am the first, like I am a representative of first generation that is really seeking the former tradition of the place, of the city, and to show, like to investigate what lasts during that time. And of course, like nature is the best example of continuation, of continuity. And here you can see amazing character from fields of regeneration, from this sewage treatment farm. This is the little bird called the black throat. It's a little, really little bird, but singing in an amazing way. And it was seen already in the very beginning of 20th century. So we can see that, like ornithology and somehow the discourse around nature can thrive the systemic change, the change involving, different nations, different politics. But Continuum, it's also about that this project, like, it's not ending. Like, of course, the exhibition has ended, but the project is still on, and we are acting, we are performing, we are investigating in different part of the seasons, with different seasons, with in every part of the day and a year. And Continuum here is also about the community around the subject. As my research reported, like the whole environmental frenzy about this organism started already in 1970s, and they were like amazing people. They were really interested in the future of this space. And one time we gathered together on those fields just to see how do we see that a landscape, what is the difference in our perspective, how can we explore more having this different perspective. Here on the photograph you can see Małgorzata Piszczek, among others Aleksandra Gierko, Marek Nowak, many other amazing activists that used to work for those fields. But Continuum is also about the way that the landscape is changing. And here you can see the photographs of the same part of those fields shooted by Antoni Knychała. The picture on the left is it was taken in 2009. And the other picture was taken after 2015, when the sewage treatment farm stopped to operate. I didn't mention that, but the sewage treatment farm started in 1881, exactly in June 28th. The first portion of sewage was put into those fields, but the treatment was ended in 2015, so for almost 134 years, the treatment was on. First cleaning, the waste, the German waste, and then the Polish waste. So it's, something that is quite important in its biography. So right now we have like a 1,200 hectares of so-called nature culture. It's a construct showing that it's a place of spontaneous action, like nature actions, but also you can see like the relics of human design. And as we found, what I tell you already, that there is a great regenerative potential, not only for humans, but also for itself. Like the fields were really contaminated with sewage. There was a lot of amount of water, but also many heavy metals. And we know that the soil managed, to clean it. So like those fields are regenerative for us, but also they are regenerative for itself. And there is like amazing technical relics that can show us like the archaeology of hydro infrastructure. Here you can see amazing pump station. Actually, I think that maybe it might be a great space for some kind of cultural events, but also to give some information, like an info point for people that want to go into the fields. Those pump state, we already had one concert that we did together with Canti Spazializzati Collective. We know that acoustic is amazing. And this pump station was powered by steam in the very beginning, so this is why you can see this chimney. But later on, after 2 decades, it was run by diesel engine, and as people believed, it was the first example of diesel engine in the Lower Silesia. Here are some blueprints that I found in the archives. So what is the amazing thing about them is that those wetlands were created as a result of irrigation with the sewage. So like in the very original idea, they were supposed to be very efficient, and that's why the pump station was put it there, just to pump the amount of water that was not needed there. But because the city grown so easily after the war, and the usage of water was rising, the sewage treatment farm couldn't like take it anymore. So this is how the wetlands were created there, and I found it really amazing. This is, this one of this paradox that we know that wetlands are very critical landscapes, critical ecosystems on the world, but they are like shrinking because of the humans' activities. But this one was created in the very close, like because of the human physiology somehow. So this is something that is very unique for this ecosystem. And unfortunately, after 2015, when the sewage treatment was ended and the sewage went to the other like modern chemical treatment plant, no sewage and no water is going there anymore. So we are like seeing that everything there is drying at the moment. And in this moment of change, we are like, we want to be there with artists, designers, scientists, environmentalists. We started, in a very organic way. It was pandemic time, so we just, spent, some time together on the fresh air. The first artist was Łukasz Rusznica, who started to take some pictures there. And then, like we started to field record. And after 1 week, week after week, like many like other people like were joining us and do, like many interesting things there and many interesting projects. I just want to mention to people from that time. On the left, this is Aleksandra Gierko. She managed to have, like, she wrote a PhD about the history and the system. And she gave me like a lot of support in the very beginning. And on the right, there is Joanna Nawrot, and she's a person that, like, she spent all her childhood nearby, and she's a chairwoman of the. She's a chairwoman of a group of people living on this settlement next to those fields, and like it was completely different knowledge, because it was knowledge that was embodied, that was knowledge that was based on her experience and experience of people that used to live there. And speaking about the knowledge, like for us, like this intersection of art, design, and science is giving us a lot of opportunity to challenge the knowledge production somehow. And when we were setting up our exhibition, that there was natural inventory going on this time. So, like scientists were counting, for example, plants living there, and we did the same, but in a completely different way. Like, for example, here, those are bottles with perfumes made by Monika Opieka, and those are plants, the same plants, but you know, like. With a smell, and sometimes even in those flacons you could find some history about those fields that was in like like filled that bottle. And for example, again, like ornithologists, like we're counting birds living there, but what we did is to listen and to record the whole season of like, birds living there. So this is, you know, like completely different knowledge production. And I think, you know, like this art institution, cultural institution have this huge opportunity to collaborate with science. This is not something that is against, you know, this classical tools, but something that let us explore and to communicate something to the public in a slightly different and more empathic way. We also did some scenario design, and it was never about how to plan the future, because back then we knew that the situation is very complicated and we are not able just, you know, and we were not ready just to figure out what would happen with those fields. But we playing with this idea of scenario with Centrala Group, we wanted to explore our imagination. How can we imagine the nature in the city? What would be the future of it if they supposed to be renature, like rewild, or maybe it should be a space for, you know, spontaneous nature actions, or maybe we thought we should think more about utilitarian way that we can use somehow and collaborate with this organism. And to leitmotif, because the project is so bold and, you know, like have many directions. But you know, like two leitmotifs that I want you to remember, that is that what we are trying to see is the seasonal embodiment, something that we like called like seasonal embodiment. And this is about following natural calendar. We know that those season change, they are quite steady at the moment. Of course, they are in a somehow changing, but they are still quite steady, and we would just want to follow that and to gain some knowledge like straight from this experience. And another leitmotif would be the socialization, so it letting us, you know, to make some horizontal situation when expert can spend some time with the public and to explore more in this nice situation, not, you know, talking ex cathedra, right, I'm doing at the moment, but, you know, in more involving way. And another one is what we are trying to learn out of it. So that would be the prototyping new social services. And for example, we really think about the natural reserve that is going to happen there somehow. This is what was stated by the mayor of the city, but also maybe how to give some additional services, like for example, this idea of sanatorium, idea of Żyjnia, but move to those fields, and, you know, to treat some urban neuroses and people that is searching, you know, for some other natural treatments. That the space is just perfect for that. And at the moment, we start like another project. We still don't know how it will happen. You are like the first audience that I'm sharing with. This project is called Laboratory for Happiness Research after Comfort. And this is quite unique project that is run by Goethe-Institut Warschau. Bogna Świątkowska is the curator of it, and this is a 5 cultural institution in Poland, working with artists, designers, the public and the scientists and the business field under somehow a prototype that would change something in our city in terms of losing comfort somehow. Losing comfort, this is something that we have to be ready for, like we have to share what has left, and when we have to be like really strict about that our energy resources are, like in a not very bad position at the moment. So maybe we have to find something to change our habits, to share the comfort with others, not only humans. So in that matter, we decided to work with soil, because this is something that we already researched during this project Fields of Regeneration, and we thought that maybe this is time for another chapter, not only to talk and to explore about the fields of regeneration, but to take some kind of knowledge and to check how can we scale it in a different part of the city. And here on the picture you can see the sketch of Krystyna Jędrzejewska-Szmek. This is rhizome. This is a reed rhizome. This is the part of the reed that you cannot see, but it's very strong and it's very resilient. And this is how the reed is very resilient plant, mostly because of this rhizome, and that is the way that the plant is connecting to each other. And we thought that maybe that would be, a great. That would be, great, like to imagine that our city might work just like that. So we imagined, this is how we started with this project, with this some kind of pre-assumptions that city is a living organism that is inhabited not only by people, and it is somehow nature culture. So it's not, that we are like having this part that are about nature and some parts that are about our infrastructure, that somehow we have to find another way to combine those two aspects. Of course, we want to work and we want to prototype something for the city that is circular and to accept dirty processes. This is something that we learned out of Rieselfelder as well, that we have to always think about our waste. And we are very, happy to talk about vernacular pre-industrial knowledge and technology. Like, for example, sewage treatment farm, something that is, this is really old technology that for us at the moment could be understood as some kind of archaeology of nature-based solutions. And the context would be also the scenario made by Centrala. That was one of the 3 scenarios I already told you about. And this scenario was showing the possible future of those fields that are utilitarian. And from the very beginning, people didn't like that, because we do not think about the nature, that we can use it somehow. And of course, we have to find another dictionary, another word to describe this relation. But we think that maybe, that infrastructure, because in this scenario, the idea was to use that former infrastructure to produce soil or to have, some ponds with hydrobotany that could be then placed in the city. And right now we still don't know how we're gonna operate, but we already had some field visits. So we started with City Composter in Wrocław. This is the really nice place where the leaves and the so-called green waste is put there, and the soil production is starting to like they started the soil production, and this is very for me future thinking, because and I think, you know, this is quite nice service, because the soil that is produced there might be taken by residents. We also research on composters that are in our parks, and then we went to Berlin. We visited Floating University. If you do not know that space, I highly recommend it to you. This is a space, nature culture space near Tempelhof, run by a great collective that is producing, you know, like completely different, like they are, you know, like producing different embodied knowledge. And we also went to the Prinzessengarten in Berlin, where we found, you know, like many, like we were discussing and talking with people and like discussing their experience in soil production and fertilizers in a city. So, like next week, we will meet together with Centrala again. There is buried fischl waiting for us from Floating Berlin in Wrocław, and we will go on to discuss about the idea of urban living soil system. How can we like put things together, and maybe to find some prototypes that would be addressing the idea of healthy living soil. And thank you very much for your presence here. And if you have some questions, we still have some time, so I'm open for the discussion. So any questions? Well, not this one in Breslau. Like the oldest sewage treatment farm that I already checked was in Bunzlau. It's Bolesławiec nowadays, and I found some tracks from 16th century that they were already treated sewage on those fields and using as in an agricultural way, you know, as a fertilizer. There is one in England. I've never been there, but I was told that there is one still operating, and the technology is use it in a very like domestic way. Like people are very into having this natural treatment area spots around their homes. But in India, for example, in Calcutta, there is one amazing, huge wetlands run by local people for many, many decades. Many generation people used to work on that. And it's still something that I haven't experienced. Maybe I will try to go there next year to visit it there. And, you know, this is like a huge sewage treatment farm still working, and I know that only from books and from some articles, but the idea is that the waste is going to those wetlands. There the sewage is treated, then the water goes to the fish ponds. There's some agriculture there, and then those vegetables, those fishes come back to Kolkata, to the stomach of its residents, and then again to the fields. So we have like this amazing, amazing loop. I think this is something that our Western imagination is very into at the moment, that we really it is not only an imagination, this is actual a policy that we want to get our cities circular, but I think there are, you know, many countries, especially on the south, that we can use their experience, their knowledge, and treat as real experts in that. Yes? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, we haven't established such archives, but it's a great plan for me for next year. You know, to like put things into one repository to let other artists and designers to use it in their art. So not yet, but because like everything was a bit spontaneous and very organic. But yeah, we are thinking about that. Well, um, like I know that there are some projects that are already in. I was like talking to the sustainable department at our municipal, and I know that there are some engineers that already design so-called pen stocks. That is something to let like to quit the water outflow from the fields. Just like the water retention would be helpful at the moment, because as I told you, like the whole infrastructure was designed not to keep the water there, but to pump purified water into the river. So right now we have to like reverse that, and maybe to put that pen stocks, just to have more water in Trzciana and Mokrzyca river. And I know that they want to somehow establish some retention next to this old river bed. So there are some projects that are already on this municipal level that is trying to to keep some water there. Yes.
My question is going in a similar direction because you were talking about the wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
Now you are talking about the solution to take water from the river
Mm-hmm.
to the former sewage then. But why don't you take the treated, the effluent from the present treatment plant
Mm-hmm.
water, because then you have not
Yeah.
gravity?
Yeah, it would be amazing plan actually, and I know that here on the Hobrechtsfelde, this is how they achieved some water from a different sewage treatment plant. That purified water is going to this Hobrechtsfelde area, but in Wrocław. I think there we made some wrong decisions in the past, and they put the this modern sewage treatment plant in the other, like on the other part, like on the other bend of the river. So right now it had to be pump to the fields, and we already know that there is a little slope of the terrain, just because like those engineers wanted to like embrace the natural forces, natural gravity forces to leave the water, to put the water into the river. So right now it had to be pumped anti-gravitally somehow. So, but I know that there is one scenario that is like this. This scenario is still on somehow, but it will be very difficult, definitely, because of the terrain. Yes.
And how much is this a process of citizen
Mhm. Mm, well, this is something that we are trying to help with. Like we have an audience, we have the community built that around this subject already, and we are, trying to like to negotiate, those all those sides of this subject together, and to discuss that. But of course, like it's not that easy, mostly because like the hard job has to be done just before, and it's not negotiable. Like for example, having this hydro engineering at the moment, but in terms of future scenario, how we gonna use that, how we gonna like use what a strange and bad word for that, but how we gonna act in those fields. This is something that we are trying to involve audience by ourselves. Yes. Mhm. Mhm. Well, like from my perspective, this is like people are walking and like having fun there, but this is still like a small group of people, I think, in a scale of the city. Uh, and still, when sometimes in a cab or like any any places, sometimes I'm there, and I'm talking to the people, and I'm just like supernatural way. I'm just the subject. The fields are the subject. Then I always ask people if they have any like memories or like knowledge about it, and I know that still people are like reflecting these ideas as something that is closed, restricted, and smelling ugly. And I even have one because there is a train tracks. And when you are coming from Poznań to Wrocław, you always have to like pass those fields. And once I had a conversation with the guy from the train, the conductor, and I was talking to him about the history of those sewage, those fields, and he told me that anytime he's passing those fields, that terrible smell makes him nauseous. And I told him that for my perspective, at least for 5 years, it's not smelly anymore. Like when we were trying to work with Monika Opieka under these fragrances from fields, we were like investigating people, going to the fields, like we found like two particular moments during the daytime that we can smell a little bit, the former smell. And it was really hard for us, like to really get some information, what was the structure of the smell. And we had to base on these memories of people. So I talked to the guy, and he thought that it's impossible because anytime he's passing those fields, they are so stinky. So then I realized that smell is something that is so strong, and people have this smell trauma somehow. This phantom smell. So I would say that smelly fields, that would be something that is well known in Wrocław, but nothing else. Mhm. 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 Mhm.
ecosystem as well, or do you as a collective feel the responsibility to keep it alive as a wetland?
Well, it was changing actually. Like I started with this idea that we have to do everything, to keep the space wet. But right now, I think that we have to like measure what is important in that matter, and maybe because they are like 12 hectares at the moment, they are going to be like only some part of it would be under this natural reserve protection, but still it's a huge organism, and maybe we do not need a one policy for this landscape, but to check what is possible, and maybe we could establish somehow a mosaic of landscapes there, and to see how they react to each other, how they like establishing so-called ecotones, the zones between ecosystems. That would be maybe helpful. And of course, there are, flora and fauna that is, out from wetland sections. So it would be terrible, to lose it. But maybe somehow it's also good, to like to say yes, to the adaptation, and to help this organism to adapt to the other circumstances. But I think, the idea that we see it as a mosaic, and we embrace wet places where it is possible, that would be the best solution. That is my perspective in that matter. Thank you. Yes.
It's amazing to listen to you, thinking about your fascination from many years back, and
Mhm.
now having seen you in the field, and now
Mhm.
listening about the continuation of the project, and you calling this area a huge organism,
Yeah.
feeling its body, it's an organism,
Yeah.
living organism. And also, it's a you in the way mentioned the changing attitude, also being
Mhm.
no longer talking to more specialists from different fields and thinking about the mosaic also for solutions. And it feels a little bit like kind of curating nature culture.
Mhm.
And it's something amazing that starting out from a gallery environment,
Mhm.
you reach out to this nature culture, and there is still this super sensitivity, but also this kind of curating,
Mhm.
intellectual curating, and also social network curating
Mhm.
in the context of museums. So I think it's also an amazing project and process,
Yeah, thank you
and
very
it's
much.
really amazing to see different projects from Wrocław
Thank you.
to
Thank you very much.
collaborations.
Yeah.
Impressive.
This is why I started, with some history, like a past history, because at the moment the design gallery is closed because we are like expecting some kind of renovation of the building. The building is really tired, and our electricity went down somehow, so we are expecting like a really massive renovation. So the gallery is closed. But like I just wanted to tell that, not only because to introduce myself, but also to show that we are really trained into the process management, that we embrace process, that we are not afraid of it, that we have some pre-assumptions as a team of curators, but we can deal that. We have to, like we don't have a control under everything, over everything. So yeah, this is something that we still like working on, and we can learn, like like curating landscape. That it is just this is like for me it's just the perfect engagement, because it's changed the idea of curating. That curating has also something in common with sanatorium idea, because this is something that you are taking care of. So there is still, some kind of relation in that. But when you want to curate a landscape, then you have to change your position, and you have to be as a good curator, I believe, some kind of medium more than the person that is in charge, to decide what will happen next. Yeah. But I think like the working with this environmental works, they are just like very challenging, mostly because uh, it's really hard to predict how the organism, like the huge organism, will react. For example, for any step. So like for me, it's always like we have to always decide for some kind of scenario. This is how our modern life looks like. But it would be so perfect if we could like put one step, and then if it doesn't work, then to change the strategy somehow. Yes. Hmm. Actually, actually, we didn't, put some steps, but I know that would be perfect. Yeah, but maybe we should find some legal person to help us how to manage that. Yeah, but I was thinking about that. That would be great. To keep it, and to preserve it as a person. Yeah. But no, we haven't started yet. But I'm taking your question as a sparkle. You are amazing audience, and like speaking about Żenia, like we do this slightly in a different way. This is something that I already said to Danae, that in Żenia we are like working in a more horizontal way. And the whole space was designed, to let people like act more like a living room situation, like a salon situation, and this is something that I'm very into. That it was quite, stressful for me to be in this position, like an expert, and having this dynamic that I'm, just here, standing here, ex cathedra. So I'm really happy that we already had this, that we had the chance for this discussion. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's done. The time is over, I think. Thank you very much.